Hello, everyone. I know it's been a minute. Let me just get myself slightly adjusted with TikTok. I haven't seen you guys in a minute. So, hopefully, you guys are doing all right. I had the summer of hell, complete hell. But hey, you know what? I'm really glad I had God on my side. I'm going forward. Everything is doing just well. Planting the seed in my brain, and all of a sudden, it turned into something that can be so great and so wonderful. So, hey Gina, how are you doing? So, I'm glad that you guys are just popping in. I just really want to talk a little bit about what are some of the things I'm noticing with some people that are doing tutoring. I know school started, some of you guys for like a month, some of you guys only for a couple of weeks. And there has been so many things that are starting to pop up, and parents are like, I don't know what to do. Some of them are just like, I have no idea where to get a tutor. All of a sudden, my kid is talking about I need a tutor. And I'm like, that's all right. I'm here for it. So if you ever need some assistance, or if you have any questions, or if you are either an adult student and you're just like, I'm about to start a class and I'm scared to death, that's perfectly fine. I'd rather be the person that I'm going to be real with you, but at the same time, I'm going to break some concepts down with you. So I know I'm normally not up at this time of night, but I'm trying out some different times. I really want to see what's the flow, what's going to be working well, and what's going to be consistent. Because, as I said, this was a rough summer for me, but making all the transitions as much as I can and just go ahead and catch and grow with it. So, hey James, how you guys doing this evening? So, as I mentioned, you guys are up, I'm up. So we're all just trying to make things happen and just trying to get things going. But I'm noticing either you're a tutor or you know somebody that needs some assistance that is just deathly afraid or just don't know where to go and where to ask. So these are a couple of things that I wanted to kind of share with you guys. So I'm not just going to be hammering on, but a little bit is kind of be for the tutors, but also there's going to be some things that I've noticed that I'm going to share with you guys, as well as one of the products that came out from this crazy fog that I was going through. So, one thing that I noticed with the tutoring, a lot of people are starting to leave the classroom and probably do their own tutoring business. And there are a lot of things that they think that, oh, it's just an easy slide, not a problem. I could definitely do it. Well, it's great that you want to do it. But here's the thing, it's just like any other business, you're going to have to put your heart and soul into it. I know last year, the main problem or the main thing that a lot of people were saying is evergreen. Like, oh, you can have an evergreen business. You just start and you just let it go. And that's it. You don't have to do anything. Yeah, right. You got to make sure, just like a kid, you're not going to pop out a kid and all of a sudden you're like, okay, wish you luck. I hope you have the grade on time and good luck of making it to year 18. No, you're going to actually feed it, care for it, love it, teach it something. I don't have kids, so, you can see I'm reaching here. But for the most part, it's just you need to nurture it. So just like any business, be it tutoring, be it, you're doing hair, you're doing nails, there's a lot of things on TikTok shop. And hopefully if I get a big buzz, I'll get my own little TikTok shop. There's a lot of people that's doing Facebook ads and Instagram ads and Google ads and even ads on YouTube. Yeah. But everybody's putting things out there. But what's going to stick, right? So you have to remember your why. Just like anything that you're about to do, you need to remember your why. And if you have a good idea, hey Michael, how are you doing? And if you have a good idea of what is your why, go ahead and put it in the chat. Like, why would you do a business? Why would you do the things that you're currently doing? So sometimes, like for me, it was teaching. I loved to teach. I loved to actually go and help kids develop their greatness because everybody has something great within them. I have friends that say, oh, I'm the terrible person. I suck at life. And I'm like, what? You're amazing. Like, You're a creator, you're an artist, you're a musician, you know how to put videos together, you are a connoisseur of watches, you're a connoisseur of like fitness, and everyone has a particular greatness about them. So it's almost like, when you're here, you want people to see your greatness because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Like, guys, come on. We're seeing people dropping off like flies. I mean, Tito, like that hurt. Like, I'm like, and then James Earl Jones, I feel like my childhood is going. And then now on top of that, 4 weeks ago, one of my former students, just horrific. And I don't want to make this about me at all. And that's why I haven't talked about it, but I'm still lost. I'm still lost how someone was murdered. And then I lost early on in the year for another former student who committed suicide or unlived themselves. I think that's the terminology. I don't know what's going on. But all I can say is while I'm still here and I have breath in my lungs, which 4 weeks ago I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do that. So I'm here. And then I found something. And for some reason, for years, I was afraid to speak my mind. Sounds a little weird for people that are on the outside getting to know me. But for those that know me for years, you really had to be like, wow, we're just really speaking up. I never knew she had a sense of humor. So it's like we have to use what our greatness is in order to use it for our advantage. Hey, Jen. Stopping in, sharing the lives, liking the lives. I greatly appreciate that. But I really want to talk about our greatness and our mindset. So I was just like kind of dusting, I know, right? One day. And I came across, and this is going to look reverse, my old book. This was the first time I still to this day don't consider myself an author because I was just a part. I was just one of many of people that joined in and did a collab book, and it was from athletes to entrepreneurs. And my chapter was the last time, and the last time meant the last time I was going to be disrespected, the last time I played overseas, the last time I was going to feel like nothing. And there was just like one little thing that I actually want to share with you that I actually wrote. I know, like I'm quoting from my own book. Um, and all of a sudden I had the page. And the next thing you know, isn't that how it always works when you have it all situated? Okay. So this section was called like still learning. And it's true. It's like, 19 years later, I've developed into a decent math teacher and I earned my master's degree and I taught in four districts. Okay, I'm going to speed along. Even though, or it should be although, life seems to be moving in the right direction, I still have moments of doubt and uncertainty. But I'm learning that change is needed. This is why I decided to take another leap of faith to leave the classroom to start my own online tutoring business. Like playing basketball, teaching has become a huge part of my life after many years of practice, faith, and love of education. As an online tutor, I have more of the responsibility to provide a service for all students to build their confidence and their abilities towards math while making connections by applying learned content to the world around them. Like scoring a winning basket, I strive to help as many people as possible break down their fear of math and the self-centered barrier of learning math to open more opportunities to achieve their long-term goals. Within 5 months under my belt, I love the independence. That's exactly how I felt in the beginning. But I still have a love to learning. I'm finally in the place in my life where I can accept change without going off the deep end and just ride the waves of entrepreneurship. Now, I almost went off the deep end again, because you know what? That deep end is always there. When you make the pool, that designated deep end is always there. And you just have to learn to, okay, let me test up water. All right, don't like it. Let me swim back to the shore. And don't feel bad if you ever have to swim back to the shore. So it kind of comes down to that whole sense of mindset. And this is the one thing I definitely want to address or to like present to everyone if they are thinking about making a change. And regardless if the change is tutoring, I always talk about tutoring because that's what I do right now. And that's basically a good part of my life is you need to change your mindset before you truly dive in. So when I went from being a classroom teacher to an online tutor, I'm going to tell you, I cannot bring over all the teaching foolishness into my tutoring life. I can't do it. So it's almost like when you make that transition, you are no longer have to do lesson plans. You no longer translating what their teacher is talking about to let me apply it. Hey, Ariel. So it's almost like you are a translator. Thank you. I appreciate that, Demetria, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of work, and I am going to talk about that. But when we get into any kind of position of change, because we as human beings, we don't like change. Our kids don't like change. Our adults don't like change. Our parents don't like change. But when you do, you have to remember what made you make that change and run with it. Do not be stagnant with it. You are no longer, oh, let me do lesson plans and all that stuff. Because sometimes people are saying programs. Yes, that was like a key word, a key phrase a couple of years ago. We should have a program. We should have a program. Reached out to me, they don't want a program. They just want someone to say, look, I need for you and then be able to apply. And then when we talk about programs, it'll be awesome for the summer. It'll be awesome for later on. So that's what I'm noticing a lot of. So sometimes, like, yeah, let's have that program. Hey, Anna, have that program. Have that great idea to stem it, to push it, to put it out there. But sometimes programs work, but sometimes people don't want programs, but there are some that do. But also it's an age group type thing. So for me, I have the older ones. And a lot of people are just like, I just need answers. I'm tired of my child right now. Because I'm tired of like, I don't understand. And here's the funny part. Because of their misunderstanding or just don't know how things go, was the whole reason why I put this notebook together. So, as you all know, or some of you guys know, I have put a notebook together. And it really stemmed from a lot of my students just don't take notes anymore. So if you know is a teacher or someone that's doing homeschool, if you really take a look at your kid's book bag, like right here, right now, like go look at their book bag, go look at their binder. I'll wait, or take the phone with you, right? If you look inside their bag, now school just started for Maryland not too long ago. I will bet you cold hard cash that it will look like a black hole filled with paper, maybe some other items that's starting to turn into another species. Oh, there's that banana that I was wondering what happened. It's all like turning into so many different things that you're looking at their book bag and you're like, where's the organization? Kids nowadays are getting, if they don't have notebooks, because you notice um, they do everything on Google Classroom. have their tablets, most of their notes are like stacks of paper. It's packets, or it's a packet within Google Classroom. And then when you really take a moment, a lot of them don't look at their notes because you have pages filled with like, this is how this instruction is going. This is how this instruction is going. This is what this graph looks like. But it doesn't give any room for the students to put their stamp on it. Like sometimes it's just a matter of like, PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Yeah, we got that engraved in our heads. We might as well all have tattoos on our shoulders with the thing, right? Our kids, sometimes they want to do something more. They might want to add a little bit more to the whole situation, right? But if they're filled with all this, where are they supposed to write? I know, like for me, if I get bored, I kind of doodle. Hey, Andy. you know, it's like you have two of my books. Aw, thanks, Kim. Oh, you were the one that bought them. But it just seems like when it comes down to the whole thing, are just not organized. They're used to getting packets, so they don't have an opportunity to erase. They don't have an opportunity to write, especially with math. Math is its own entity. Stop fighting it. Just stop fighting it. You cannot, and I know a lot of us, my friend Kim over here, she is an assistant principal at a high school, right? So she sees a lot, but we always want to do like these cool collaborations. But math is always on its own island, its own branch of the tree. And everyone thinks like, oh, they're just so isolated. Like, no, 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 we actually like it, right? Because we understand that without us, the world, you would think, oh, if the world didn't have math, we wouldn't have the internet. If there was no math, there'd be no internet, there'd be no computers. Let me put it together. Computers. There would be no visual cameras. There wouldn't be any phones. There wouldn't be anything. No one would know what a calendar is. There's so many things that wouldn't be in existence if math wasn't. It's because of how the math was presented to you that was very confusing. How the math was structured, because it was just when we were in school, let's talk about our 40s and 50s right here. When we were in school, we had multiplication tables, but we did the cadence. Do you remember the cadence? We were like, okay, guys, well, today we're going to learn our 2 times table. Ready? Like, we didn't have the cool style, with the hop beat and all that stuff. No, it was just like 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, that's flashbacks. Yeah. Okay, got it. Weird chill. But that's what they did. That's how we knew our multiplication tables. We didn't do what they have in Montessori when they give you like 4 Dixie cups and a handful of beans, and they say, okay, here's 10 beans. See if you can evenly distribute the beans in the cups, and then talk about what you discovered. We didn't have that. It was very boom, boom. But we have to learn to open up. And that's when we start bringing in things like Singapore math. And we bring Eureka. All of a sudden, our kids are learning math in a different way than we ever could imagine. And then now, as they're getting older and they're starting to get into high school, you're starting to see them like, what is this? So no one has any idea. So then this is when I talk to you guys. This is when you need a tutor, right? This is when you need someone that's going to help organize, but at the same time, you're going to need, shameless plug, you're going to need this math notebook. So you're probably like, Audrey, okay, what's the math notebook? I didn't see any of your posts. Okay, keep watching. But with my math notebook, it's basically designed for 7th and up. Those advanced 7th graders, anyone that's taking those Algebra 1, maybe even pre-algebra and up. Because most of the notebooks that we see nowadays, they're basically designed for elementary school kids. Okay, even though you have your great composition book, okay, this is the famous one on my post. Even though you have a great composition book, it's great for all those individuals Yeah, I'm not bringing anyone up right now. I'm sorry. You can make comments, but I'm not bringing anyone up. It's great to write your notes down, but then when you try to do any kind of graphs, you notice that every time you try to make a graph in a notebook, it's never going to be consistent, and you need consistency. Same thing with the spiral notebook. Okay, with the spiral notebook, everyone does what it does. Let me write some notes and rip it out. Oh, I need to throw my gum out. Rip out a piece of paper. Oh, I need to pass a note over to this person real quick and give them my phone number. Rip it out in out of the notebook. Okay, that's the reason why people got spiral notebooks, so they can pass it around and rip it and get rid of their gum. Or better yet, I used to work in a public school. We used to do the place where they put the seeds of their sunflower seeds. You never realize how many sunflower seeds these kids eat in one class period. Oh yeah, gross. Okay, so but that's what they do. But I wanted to design a notebook that's going to give students an opportunity to practice and an opportunity to get some of those resources, a lot of those resources that's ready and available to them. So when it really comes down to, I know I went from mindset to my notebook, but it's because of my change of mindset when I was sick. And I think I had COVID. I don't know because I had a fever for 2 weeks straight. Who has that? Okay. And it got a moment where everything stopped. Tutoring stopped. I had a membership that I was helping other tutors with. That stopped. Like everything ceased. But guess what? Life keeps saying, you know what? While I'm here, and I say this often, the only thing once I'm dead and gone, say my name and have a smile on their face. I want people to say my name, Audrey Codner, and have a smile on their face. And even say, you know what? She really wanted to help. She really wanted to be out there. But in order for me to be out there, I have to be on social media at a consistent rate because I need to be at top of mind. Same thing happens for everyone's business. Same thing happens for your mindset. I need to learn how to promote myself. I need to know how to do sales. I need to do because everyone has greatness within them. And you just have to stop and look around and just reflect and just meditate to realize what is it that you love to do, not what your parents want you to do, not what society wants you to do because you can make so much money. What is it that will, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to do it? And for me right now, it's tutoring and mentoring other people. Just sometimes listening, not so much talking. I like to listen and I need to do more of that. But this is always what I basically want to hear. So, math notebook time. Ready? And if you enjoy some of these, you can go ahead and share the live. If not, trust me, I understand. I may only be speaking to a small group, and I'm just trying to figure out when are those small groups available. So there's going to be times I'm going to be here early in the morning. There's going to be times I'm going to be here at this time of night until I find that sweet spot. And I don't think there is ever a sweet spot. I think it's just me. I just need to get off my butt and get on here and just talk for a bit, right? So if you are a parent, if you are an adult, maybe even a student, that you want to organize your notes, this is the math notebook for you. So let me take a step back a little bit. So what happens is you have a graphing side. So this is where you can do all your graphs. You already have your graph grids. So you don't need a separate graph book. Inspired. So Cornell Notes was just a special way of, it used to be like But what I did was put it into math types. So you're going to have the formulas that is going to be a part of that session or of that lesson. Right underneath that, you're going to have your steps. So, like a lot of kids, this is generally what happens. As soon as they come home, it just seems like everything that they heard or learned in the classroom just disappears. And everyone keeps relying, oh, well, they don't get their notes or they don't get their stuff graded and given back to them right away. Well, if they had their notebooks, they don't have to worrying about getting a feedback form or something from their teacher. They can rely on their notes to help them study. And I'm going to talk about how you should be studying math in a moment. So once you have your formula section, you have your step by step, then you have your examples. And if you notice, especially for teachers, this will be great during the lesson. You can ask them how they're feeling before they even start the lesson. It's like a little mood tracker, right? So they can circle how they're feeling. As you're moving around the classroom, you can take a look to see how they're doing. Midway through the lesson, you can ask them, hey, what is it that, how you guys are feeling about the lesson so far? It's just a simple thing because administration is always asking, how do you know if your kids are doing well? Teachers, come on, let's be real. We don't know. We're just hoping that these kids are grasping on because you got this curriculum guide you got to stick with, but you have really no idea until these kids open up to you. You have no idea. But even the quietest kid can circle a face, right? Even the quietest kid. Sandra, thank you for sharing the live. Okay. So then, close to the end of the lesson, most people like to give like an exit ticket. All right. That means you have to make up an exit ticket. Guess what? You don't have to, as a teacher, as a homeschool parent, you don't have to make an exit ticket. You could just ask them to circle to see how you're feeling. And then right here, I have what is the day of the instruction. So if this is day one of the instruction, hey, they're supposed to be confused on day one, right? But if it's day three and you're still seeing all red faces, we need to talk. What's going on? What's happening? What are you missing? What do you need more assistance with? So you have that all here in the notebook. You don't have to print out any papers, any of that. It's all situated, right? So once you got that, then they have all the instructions. If you want, I know there's a lot of people that are like, look, there's certain things I really want my kids to have, Audrey, and maybe you just don't have it or it doesn't really have room, and I just want them to have that. Okay. So you give them a handout, right? So now they have a handout. They can tape this handout into the book, make it almost those interactive books, right? Have them tape it at the very top, have them fold it. So now it's on one side, okay? On the graph side. That means on the Cornell inspired side, all they need to do is like summarize what's on the paper. By them summarizing, by the students actually taking pencil and writing out the summary, maybe writing out an example and walking themselves through it, you're helping them to remember. You're helping them to break down those concepts. So now when we get into a tested area, or let's back up, when we go to do homework, they'll be having a more of a success rate than just you giving them packets. It's saving you tons of time. Well, kids don't know how to make notes. Teach them. Teach them what is important. Write this down. Break this part down. That's what we should be doing. Okay? So when they have the handout over here, now on this side, then on this side, they're breaking things down. They're writing down the steps. Was there a mood tracker? How are they tracking everything? Okay. Now, you're probably like, okay, Audrey, so how many pages is it? There's 100 pages, 50 of the graph, 50 of the Cornell notes. Okay. But that's not the only thing. Kids like to doodle. Okay? Hey, Tim, welcome in. All right. So kids like to doodle. And since kids like to doodle, and sometimes there's a lot of references they may have not written down, right? So I decided to add a reference sheet. I know it's in backwards, just work with me here. Okay? There's a reference sheet. Now, again, this is for those advanced Algebra 1, so like advanced 7. So we're going to go and break the norm. So we're used to seeing a lot of reasons why a lot of people, or main reason, composition books. There we go. The reason why a lot of people get composition books is because they don't want to rip things out, right? They want to keep everything in one book nice and neat. But then the other reason why is because of the very back page. Let's not fool ourselves, right? So everyone goes for the back page, and the back page gives us like so much information. It gives us a multiplication table, it gives us the conversion rates, which sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't. All right, and it's not now, especially the newer ones, they give us punctuation and a little bit of English. So they try to jazz it up a little bit. But that works for elementary. That works when you're dealing with numbers up to 100. But when you get into advanced, guess what? A lot of these kids are not just dealing with numbers from 1 to 100. They're dealing with from 625. They're dealing with 1,000. They're dealing with 400. They're dealing with larger numbers. So when I do that, I decided to have a reference sheet. So a couple of things that I have. One is this, and you're probably like, ooh, colors, is this factor sheet. Now, when our kids are breaking down radicals, when our kids are trying to simplify fractions, the reason why a lot of them struggle with it is because they're terrible at multiplication. They don't know their multiplication facts. If they don't understand multiplication, they really can't do anything else. That's the core of it. That, in addition to the rules of integers, when's it supposed to be positive, when's it supposed to be negative, those, if you can nail those two things down, you'll be fine with life. You'll be able to pass. You'll be able to do well on your ACTs and your SCTs. You'll be able to do well, we call it HSAs. You'll be able to do well on those assessments. Very well, if you just understand your multiplication facts. But guess what? A lot of us still struggle with the sevens, eights, and nines. I don't know what it is, but it's always a struggle. But what I do is I kind of give you, and some person called it a cheat sheet. Fine, do what you need to do. A lot of people don't know that prime numbers. They don't know their prime numbers. They don't know what factors square root into its prime factors. Those are the discussions that they're having. Hair on the back of their neck twitching like crazy because it's like they're going back into the classroom. But when they do these things, I have it that my yellow is the prime numbers. So that's easily highlighted. So yellow is the prime numbers. The blue is those perfect square roots, like 4s and 9s. Those are square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. But then what's different, I'm going to see if I can zoom in. I know I'm doing the different things. If you notice, there's things in red. The things in red is there to help you with those that are trying to break down those radicals. So like if I say this, no, it's backwards. Square root of 20s has factors of 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5. 4 and 5, when you do a perfect prime combination, that means I have a perfect square root, which is 4. Square root of 4 gives me 2. Prime is the square root of 5 because 5 is a prime number. The only way I can get 5 out of multiplication is 1 and 5. So the perfect prime combination will be the square root of 4 square root of 5, which will give me a result of 2 square root of 5. So for your older kids, they're like, oh my gosh, I can get to those radicals a lot quicker. I'm like, exactly. So like if I wanted to do the square root of 172, does anybody know the square root of 172 off the top of their head? Go ahead. Go ahead, geniuses. All right, show off. But everyone else, no. It's not perfect. So I'll go to 172 and I have factors of 1 and 172, 2 and 86, and 4 and 43. So if I break down the square root of 4, that gives me 2. The square root of 43, that's a prime number. So I can't break it down. So I like to say if I can't break it down, I bring it down. So now I have 2 square root of 43. So this helps the kids get to those simplifications a lot quicker. And especially when they're factoring quadratics. I had my students use this the last year. They were like, this is the best thing ever. I can get my homework done so much quicker. Wouldn't you love to hear your kids say, I got this? Wouldn't that just be the most amazing thing? That I got this. So in addition to that, we got reference sheets. Things with looking at the integers, looking at multiplication and division, looking at the different words and what operation is associated with it. Is it plus? Is it minus? Is it multiplication? Is it division? What do we got? Okay, we're looking at those products or properties of exponents. We're looking at a little bit of trigonometry just beyond the Pythagorean theorem. We're looking at the quotient identities. I actually worked with kids today doing that. The unit circle. But then in addition to that, everybody needs a break. I got a brain break section. So we got some mazes here. Just give kids a moment. They need a breather. Go ahead. Just go to the back. Give yourself a nice brain break. Do a Sudoku. Okay? Maybe color in. Pencil works great for these books. Color pencils, gel pens, awesome. Sharpie pens, not so much. It's going to leak through. There's only so much paper, so much quality we can do. Now, for your students that love the pixel art, bam, got you covered. Okay? Everything is in here. So you got your resources, you got brain breaks, you have your mood trackers. Everything is situated all in one. So when it comes to when your kids and you're noticing your child is struggling, you're noticing their backpack is getting overfilled, yes, you have the math notebook, which of course the back of it, I have if you ever see it, if you want to free frames. If you want, there's a video that's associated with this QR code. So you can go ahead and just, there you go. Okay. And you can play the video that's with it. I'm going to actually wait for my orders to come in, and I'm going to go to a couple random Walmarts in my state and also a couple of children's books places and just drop them off there. Just randomly put them in shelves and just have someone take a look at it and scan it and see if they want it. I don't know. It's a free one. Go ahead. Have fun. But if you are really interested in that, or if you need a tutor, even if you're like, Audrey, I need a tutor, but my child is in the 2nd grade. I have friends that are tutors, and I could definitely reach out to them. And just let me know what is it that you need assistance with, and let's see what kind of personality your child has. And then I can definitely give a recommendation, because that's what I like to do. If I can't do it, I will find someone for you. But do not sit there and struggle alone. There's no need. Okay? There's no need for you to struggle. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up. Been on here for a little bit, chit-chatting a bit. But if you have any questions, this will be a perfect time. If you have any questions about tutoring, I'll stay for a little bit, just hang out, and just want to see how things go. Hey, Linda, so nice to meet you. Thank you for the flowers. Yeah, and I know Nancy was here a little bit earlier, but it's just a matter of if you need assistance, do it. Do it. I'm going to keep putting videos out there. I know it has been a while, Linda. It really has been a while. I have been basically, I think the best way of saying it, I had to do some soul searching. I really did. Um, a lot of a personal note, I'll put this out there. I recently got divorced. So that was, I have to deal with changes, to eventually learn not only, oh, go back to what Audrey was before, because even Audrey before wasn't that strong. I just had to figure out who is Audrey and then be able to live with that. So that was something I had to do. And because of my moments of, you need to sit down and get yourself clarified, girl, I started with this math notebook, and there's a couple other ones that are coming out. And I'm looking for one for just for geometry. And I'm also in the process of making some coloring books and activities for basically secondary students and up, for them to, have some fun. Just take a moment, just take a breather, take a brain break. And I think I might actually call it the brain break. Never know. But I just feel like there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of pressure, and I don't know. I'm tired of losing students. I don't care if they're current students, former students, especially former students. I hope all my former students are listening to this because they're always going to be my babies, regardless of how old you are and how many kids you popping out. Like, seriously, I need for some of y'all to read a book because, damn, y'all got a lot of kids. But but for the most part, like every single solitary child that I had when I first started at Overly High School many, many moons ago, to my kids from Arundel, my kids from City Neighbors, my kids from, yeah, I'm putting it out there because I don't work there anymore. My kids from Baltimore Design School. Oh, even let's back up. My kids from Rika, my kids from Baby Bookings. I can't even call them kids because they did some stuff to be in there. Um, and I lost a lot of former students there. A lot of them had contracts on their heads, but every single solitary student that I ever had is they make my heart sing, especially when I see them advancing. And even the students that I have or had, the ones from Cairo, Egypt, the one from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm just seeing how it just makes my heart sing. And I I love learning. I still am learning how to be confident as a business owner, not just a hobby. Or I'm learning how to develop a role, not to be an educator, but to be a mentor, learning how to listen and learning how to be there for people. And that's what I want to do. I don't know what the official title is. I know some people call it life coaches, and I know there's a lot of people talking, there's a lot of people that's doing, but I don't want education certain forms or certain formulas and then turning into the test and just getting a grade on the test. No, I want you to take what you're learning and apply it and see how it can make your life better because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. I'm sorry, we're not. We're not. So when it comes to, I had to change my mindset, and there was something that I needed to be here when I'm no longer. And I feel like these math notebooks can help a lot of students. And I'm not making a whole lot of money off of it because everything's done in color. You print a book in color, you ain't getting that much money back. But it's not about the money. It's more so about helping the kids get organized, stay organized, and be able to progress like that. Be figuring out a date and a time. I think my times might see some people I haven't seen in a while. I think this is Sherry Lee. I think Charleston. I appreciate you being here. Everyone else, Kim, Demetra, I really appreciate you guys stopping in. And you're going to see more of me. And I'm going to make this happen. In order for me to make change, I got to be seen. So, and hopefully you guys see that message. You guys have a lovely evening. And again, if you want to get this math notebook, it is live and ready. I have this cover and I have a couple other covers, but they haven't come in the mail yet. Again, I will say, they are $12 because, hey, Linda, not a problem. The reason why because I do Uber Eats in addition, no shame. And I remember seeing a small bottle of honey, $14. I did another delivery. This woman had a planner the size of my palm. They're selling it at Staples for $12 and some cents just for the dates and times. So just put your worth out there, people. Do not hold back whatsoever. And you'll be shocked and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I wouldn't pay for that. And there was tons of deliveries I made that I had to basically buy these items. So you'll be shocked, but someone's buying it. If it's someone see it of great importance, they will buy it. Right. Hey. So if you are looking for your copy for the math notebook, it is on Amazon, ready to go. Supply on demand, right? So this will be something that I will be talking more and more about. I'm probably going to talk a little bit more in the afternoon. But if you ever want to brainstorm, you feel stuck, or do you make time for way too many people? And for people to basically take this kindness and apply it to their life and then pass it on to others, I think that's what it sounds like to me. So hopefully you're not staying in the dumps. Hopefully, hey, Michael, it's been a while. Hopefully you're not staying in the dumps. Hopefully you're not buying into, every time you turn around, I see a depression medication on TV. Like, what is that? What's up with that brains washing right there? Get out. Know who you are. Learn about yourself. Learn about what you like and then embrace that. Shameless plug. If you want to learn or read that on Amazon, you could just type my name, Audrey Codner, and just take all the notes and whatever that's on there, and be on the lookout for some more of the coloring books. I know, coloring books. That's Audrey. It's crazy. All right, so have